Hi everyone, today I am going to be starting this page, which is from Hanna Karlzon's Seasons book, and I picked this picture for two reasons. Firstly, because it's also in her Grains of Gold book, which is her compilation book, so if you've got that one or this one, then you may have not done the picture, so you can colour along if you want to or get some ideas. But also we've got our sort of chicks, and it's quite an Eastery look with our daffodils and what I think are probably grape hyacinths and that sort of thing going on, so I thought it was quite a good picture to pick. So I've got Prismacolors to use today. Now I know I rarely use Prismas, but they have the colours that I want, so come in a little closer. I'm firstly thinking, you know, we have an eggshell colour, which actually might be a little bit too dark, but we've got that going on, and we've got other things that I just felt would work with Prismacolor pencils. I often use Prismas in Hannah's books. They do go down well. So let's make a start. If you don't have Prismas and you want to colour along, I do have some comparison charts in my Ko-fi. You can pop along to there, have a look. There's loads of options of charts for different pencil comparison charts. This is the eggshell. I'm going to actually just start colouring the outsides of the shells. As I say, I think it's a little bit light, but it might just be right. We'll see how it works, but I'm just going to put a layer down. So as I was saying, I have comparison charts, I also have swatch charts, I have colouring book index sheets, I have lots of things going on, and you can also just pop over there and put grab loads of freebies. The idea is that with Ko-fi it is a sort of channel where people can make donations if they want to donate to you as a creator. But what I do is I have loads of freebies there, so you can just go and grab those if you want something in exchange, or if you just want a freebie and you can't afford to donate, that's absolutely fine, because I know it's just getting tougher and tougher at the moment, I think, for a lot of people. So the option is there. If you want it, you can use it, you know, but I do want you to go and grab those freebies, whether or not you can exchange, because just you watching the video, if you just give me a little like, a comment, share it with your friends, that is brilliant as well, you know, that helps me too. So that's fantastic. Now we are just covering these little shells. Now, as I say, I'm just sort of putting down an initial layer. Just trying to move my book a bit. There we go. And then I'm going to use a slightly darker colour for parts of it, and then sort of finish it off. And of course the inside as well, I'll have to have a think about. I wanted the inside to be white, but there's some shadowing indicated on here with these little dots, so we'll have to do something a little bit shadowy in there. We'll think about that. Well, I will. You might too. You never know. So I hope you're all doing well. It's a really hot and sunny day today. I went out first thing to had to pop to town, and my goodness, it was warm. I should have gone earlier, whoops, but I had to wait for the shop to open that I was going to. It doesn't open that early. And I was also waiting for my son to get out of bed, and he was ages, just so he knew I was gone really, but he wouldn't have minded. And also waiting for husband to go to work. And but anyway, right, that is the first layer. It's not particularly neat. I'm thinking I probably want to add some beige on top, but I'm just grabbing my swatch chart. This again is one that's available in my Ko-fi. So there's the eggshell there. I can't remember why I put them in this order. It's a really weird order. I think it was something to do with I think I want beige. I think it might have been the order they were in the box. I'm trying to find the beige. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, that might work. Let's give it a go. So, anyway. Yeah, I think that's the order that they came in the box that I did. Often I reorder them on my swatch charts to an order that I like. So here's our beige. I'm going to come in closer now and do each egg one at a time so that you can see a bit better. There we go. We'll start over here if I can. Just move my pencil sharpeners out of the way so I can get down here. Now I'm thinking the bottom might be a little bit darker. We'll put a bit of this beige here. It's only a little bit darker than the eggshell. And then down here might be shadows against these items, gemstones, it looks like. Also the very edge might be likely to be a bit darker because of the sort of rounded shape of an eggshell, like that. Okay, yeah, I can see the difference a little bit there, but what I need to do is now grab my eggshell and tidy up a little bit. So I'm just going to, sorry, I didn't show you, eggshell, it's quite hard to see, isn't it? Just blend that beige in and sort of fade it a little bit to the edge. I think I'm going to use a slightly lighter colour. What do we have? Maybe the cream would work. You know, the eggshell, it actually looks darker than the beige on my swatch chart. Oh well. Maybe I just swatched it harder, I don't know. Right, let's go and get the cream. Here it is. Cream colour, and just do the very edge in a cream just to lighten it slightly. There we go. There. My son left his lunch at home today, so I'm back to my beige. So I spent quite a bit of time this morning trying to sort him out. He can buy a meal, but he wasn't sure if he had enough money. I think he did. He said it had £15. I was thinking, if that's not enough money for lunch, my goodness, that's expensive. But also, I think he's got a card on in his Google wallet, so I was trying to work that out and see whether he could use that. So I'm not sure what he's going to do. But he has now got options eggshell to buy something, which is good. And it's the first time he's forgotten his lunch in like nearly 2 years. So I think he's done quite well. Really, this is cream. He used to do it a bit more often. Actually, his brother's tends to forget things a bit more. At college, I think, a few times, had to go and buy a sandwich. There's that one. Now I will do the insides. I'm just concentrating on the outsides at the moment, and we'll do the insides afterwards. So we're back to our beige, and I'm going to do both of these at once. Well, I'd need 2 pencils if I was going to do them both at once. I think you know what I mean. But yeah, I was just hoping that he can use his card. He's never used his student account card before. He's never really needed to. When he's had to get a bus, he's just used cash. So we'll see. His brother's used his card a bit more because he sometimes goes out with his friends and grabs lunch on the fly. This is eggshell, but I'm sure he'll manage. I think it's just the fact that it's so busy that is a bit off-putting. I would agree, having to stand in a queue and wait and think, have I got time to buy and eat and do everything I need to do in my lunch break, you know. But some cream, he doesn't have to eat it all at once. He can eat some in his class, I'm sure. Anyway, we'll see. So there is the edge of the last bit of shell. Now, I did consider doing the eggshells like in a pale blue. I think that's really pretty. But in the end, I decided that I wanted to do them this sort of colour. Now the inside, I think I'm going to use a grey for the shadow. I'm just looking at my swatch. I want a cool grey. I think the 20% might be dark enough. I'll give it a go and see. We'll start on these two, seeing as they're here waiting. And what I'm going to do is just put a light layer along here and then just over the dots like that. I might just do a bit of a border around where the shell on the outside might be shadowing the one inside, and then a little bit here, maybe like that. But I really want most of it to look white, so I'm going to again do a sort of layer all the way along. Like that, and then just go over that dotty bit a little bit, just sort of fade it off a little bit if you can. I'm sort of thinking this bit's further away, this bit's closer to us. Would there be, maybe there would be a little bit more shadow just here, just a light tickle like that, maybe. Right, and these two. So this one hasn't got any dots on, but we'll do a little bit on there still. My husband's going to an art fair tomorrow. He's managed to, he says it's free tomorrow. He said he felt a bit guilty because we actually have Friday afternoons together, just us, and he's like, oh, it's our sort of date time. I was like, it's okay, I've got loads of work to catch up on. You go, because my one son's been using this office for working in. He seems to be finding it a bit easier to get on with work if he's here, a bit less distracting. So that's all good, but it means I have got very behind in recording. But so if neither of them are here tomorrow, I can catch up. There's our little eggshells. Now we have our chicks. Here we go. Oh. Now, how are we doing for time? 12. Okay. Now, how do we colour a chick? Well, I always think yellows, bits of brown, that sort of thing. Now, with the Prismacolor, we can layer colours on top of each other, which is nice. We can start with a light and build it up a bit. So I'm actually going to use this cream colour and just do the whole of our chick in the cream. And then we'll build up some colours, I think. Now, the crowns I'll do later. And the beaks. Now, I am not entirely sure whether chicks are this colour, are yellow, and whether their beaks are sort of yellowy orange, but I just think they look cute, and so that's what I'm going to try and do. And I am just putting a light base layer as evenly and covering as much as I can. It's really quite hard to see. I'm just doing the best that I can and hoping that it works. Just checking the time as well, because it's 12 o'clock. Probably have lunch at past. My son's just gone upstairs to his room. I think he's just finished his work. My other son, one's out, one's in. But he was okay working at his desk. Expecting some post. I've got a couple of Colouring Heaven issues coming, which as soon as they come I will do videos, so they'll come out before this one. How confusing. And I've also got something really interesting coming, where a company has contacted me for a collab. They're not paying me, but they're sending me the product for free to show you. So, and I haven't heard anything about it anywhere online yet, so that interests me. And yeah, I'm just excited by it, but I can tell you, but I'm not going to. If you want to know more, you'll have to follow me and watch my videos and look out for them. Being a bit naughty. And also they haven't arrived yet. They haven't actually. They offered it to me. Are you interested? Yes, I am. Okay, we'll send it to you then and blah. But I haven't had it yet, so I can't really. This is deco yellow, so it's still quite a pale yellow. And I'm going to just start putting some little bits of colour onto our chick. Now you see I'm using this little lines because he's got fur. We want him to look her. I'm going to say him. I think that's the her from the crowns. I think this is a boy's crown. I don't know why. And so following the lines of fur, feathers, not fur. They are fluffy. They don't feel like feathers, do they? Just start to put some lines in. Now they're not visible because it's yellow on yellow and cream. You can't really see it. But as we build up some layers, hopefully it will become more visible. Do the same on this one. They are just the cutest little cutie wooties. Now I was watching Inna's Witherspoon. You may have heard of her. She's got a Facebook. She's on Facebook, and she had a video on how to colour chicks the other day. Probably a few weeks ago by the time this comes out. And I was watching that and it was interesting. But I didn't watch it completely. I just had a quick look at the beginning and then the end, because I want to really avoid copying people, if you know what I mean. I think that. And hers, it was beautiful, but she always whites out all the black lines, and it makes her work look far more photorealistic, which is interesting. But it's not something that I do, obviously. Right, next. Should we go, I'm trying to think, we could go darker yellow, we could put in a little bit of brown. I'm just trying to think what colour chicks are they more, yeah. I'm going to go for the jasmine next. It does say jasmine in French, the English one is too short. I've actually getting a few more pencils soon, because some of these are getting a bit short. Now, I really want quite short lines, because this one is going to show up more because it's a bit more brownish, and I want to make sure that you can see these little fur lines and they're not like you know, it would be short. So I'm trying to do them sort of in the direction of the lines that are drawn on our little chick. And if you go slowly, you get a better look. It's true of all colouring really, but I'm too impatient usually. I don't go that slowly. I just can't. I just want to get on. Life is ready to be lived. And yes, that really defeats the object of mindfulness, doesn't it? Oh, let's just get on. I thought about my chick for 5 minutes. I'm moving on. No, it's not good, is it? But it's just the way my brain works, I'm afraid. It just wants to be quick. There's always lots to do. And I don't feel like I'm over busy, that I'm over rushed. It's just me, you know. I just do things quickly. And someone was saying to me, oh, you produce so many videos, you're like a machine, you're just so quick. And it's like, am I really? I don't know. I just do what comes naturally to me, I guess. Maybe I'm just lucky. My husband showed me this great video this morning. He showed it me because it was someone doing a jigsaw puzzle, and they had a custom made, they'd made it, jigsaw puzzle table, which was just amazing. So basically you turned a little handle and a new tabletop rolled out over the top, so your jigsaw got covered up, which I thought was just really clever. But he said that wasn't, he said, oh, I didn't show you, it wasn't for that because you can't buy those. I was like, okay. He said it was for the actual jigsaw, and the jigsaw puzzle that she was doing was only edge pieces. Now you might sort of think, well, that sounds weird, how? And it was like a maze, imagine type, it wasn't a maze, but imagine a maze is a jigsaw. You've got all, you know, edge, 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 and it's just, you know. And so that was really, it was a really interesting idea for a jigsaw. I really liked it, and different, you know, unique. We don't usually see something that different, you know. So I thought, well, that's very clever. So that was pretty cool. But I think there was like a limited amount or something made, I'm not sure. But I just thought it was quite interesting. A bit different. I don't know what they were called or anything, for you're going to go, what's it called? I don't know. But it was, yeah, it was a bit different. It's quite interesting. I was saying to one of my sons, people don't have innovative ideas anymore. It's like, yes, they do, Mum. It's like they just have it, instead of being like Einstein and he did all this, the person works for a company and then the company takes the credit and the person doesn't have, you know, isn't. I was like, oh, maybe you're right. I'm just going to look at my swatch chart and try and decide where to go next colour-wise. I can't decide whether to go goldenrod, yellow ochre, or go something like an artichoke or a light umber. I don't really want to move too far away from yellow. I think I'm going to put some canary yellow on, and let's just see what impact that has, because they're looking quite pale. Here we go, canary yellow. Again, lines. I'm not colouring over the whole thing, putting in some lines. Oh, that's going to brighten them up, certainly. These guys are the stars of the show, aren't they? They're the little cutie pies that everyone's hopefully going to be wanting to look at when they look at this page. So they need to be stand out and look pretty nice, I think. So if they're a bit brighter, they'll stand out a bit more, won't they? Yeah, I thought we might be about 22 minutes through. That's funny. So my time awareness is really good though. It's quite an interesting skill. My dad has it too. He can tell you what time it is without looking at his watch. And I think there are two elements to it. One, that you are aware of time passing, so you know roughly how long has passed. But also that you look at the clock a fair bit, so you sort of just know, because you've got that information in your brain. And my husband is quite time blind, and I think it's apparently an ADHD trait, but I'm sure that it isn't just people with that have it. And I think sometimes when you get into flow, a state of flow, I don't know if you've heard that term, but you know, where you're really carried away with something and your head's down, you're in it, you're not distracted, you're just concentrating on that one thing, then time can slip away. Now, I don't tend to get into that state when I'm colouring. I find colouring quite the opposite. I've got quite a big awareness of everything that's going on while I'm colouring, because it doesn't take a huge amount of concentration. You can see the difference. Improvement, I would say. Whereas when I am reading a book, that's when I become more into flow, because I can't do anything else at the same time. I can't think about anything else apart from what I'm doing, you know. Whereas if I'm listening to a podcast, then I always colour at the same time, which is what I spent a lot of time doing yesterday, and it was lovely fun. Because my son was in the office, I couldn't record, so I did have some bits of worky type stuff to do, but after that, I I was listening to, there's a new set of podcasts that come onto BBC Sounds called What's Up Docs. I don't know if they're available to everybody in the world or just UK. Twin brothers that are doctors, Chris and Zalm Van Tulleken, have started this new podcast. There was one on willpower, and that was interesting, really interesting. Basically saying that it is a thing, but we are better or worse at it in different situations, like if we're tired, we're not so good, or hungry, or whatever. And there was also one on hunger, or when you're hungry, and whether it's actually a concept, and whether there's more to it than low blood sugar or not. I wasn't so convinced by that one, to be honest. I always felt that it was probably just low blood sugar. But anyway, it was still an interesting perspective, shall we say. Now we need a little bit of some darker areas on our feathers where we've got shadows. For example, under the wing. So this is the yellow ochre, and I'm going to just put a bit of this under the wing, as I said, to try and make it look like there's maybe a little bit of shadow just going on under there, and we can do the same on this bird. Now, of course, shadow can be in all sorts of dark colours, but I don't really want them to go that dark, so I'm just trying it with this one. And I'm thinking sort of here, maybe like that, around the eye a little bit, and then bits maybe under the crowns, like that, and then underneath these necklaces, I want to say. I can't think of any other word for it. What's interesting is they're tied together, these two little tricks. Seems a bit cruel, doesn't it? I wonder why they're tied together. I've always wondered why they're tied together. I've looked at this picture every year, every Easter. I look at it and think I should do that picture, and then I don't. But now I am, so I'm pleased that it's getting done eventually. Now, beaks. I'm thinking, yes, this is the yellow ochre. I just feel that it's a really cute colour. Their beaks and feet. And I absolutely know that chicks' feet are not this colour, but I just think it just looks nice. And when we see cartoon chickens and things, this is the colour we see them. So I don't see anything wrong with it. A bit of artistic license. There we go. Now I'm going to darken those a little bit in some areas. I think we're going to go for brown. Do I want the burnt ochre? I think I do. I need to sharpen them. There we go. Burnt ochre. I'm just going to put a bit of shadow under there and there. And then with our legs, I'm going to put a little bit on each side, and then on the lower bits of the toes. I mean, I know they're sort of clawed, but the claw is this bit, which I'm going to do in a darker brown, I think. I've also just got picked up my library book yesterday, It was on self-love. Now, it's not something that I was massively interested in, but I was really interested in the author. He's got a book out, a new book out, which I really want to read, but the library didn't have that one, so I just grabbed this other book, which is by him. This is Chocolate. I'm going to use this for the claws. And so I am, and it's actually really quite a fascinating book. It's got all sorts of exercises to teach you how to practice self-love, and also examples of things that happened to him personally and other people when they felt they didn't have enough self-love, and that was quite interesting too. I'm going to grab the sand next and do some more feathering on our chicks. I just feel it needs a little bit more. So here is the sand. And yeah, there's a lot of information about him in it, and I find that quite interesting too, sort of just learning about him and his life and things he's done and how those things have affected him and that sort of thing. Maybe I'm just too nosy. But that was interesting. We haven't finished it yet, but I thought it was a valuable book to read. But I've really got into reading self-help at the moment. My sister was like, why have you suddenly got into reading? Because I don't normally read at all. And I said, a couple of reasons. Firstly, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of people who are on podcasts have books out because they're on there to promote their book. And I put a lot of the books on my wish list, and then it suddenly occurred to me that I could get these books from the library and I didn't need to buy them, and therefore I could read them right away. But my library doesn't have all of the books that I want to read, which is fair enough. So I joined the library, and actually what is fantastic, if you're in the UK library, join the library, and now I've got something called Press Reader or something like that. I can't remember. I'm just looking at my phone beside me, but it's not. I haven't put the app on there. And you can read all the newspapers that your local library has paid for, and magazines and things. And it was really good fun when I first got it. I looked at all the design magazines and things like that. And it means that I tend to look at the newspaper headlines on the BBC. And sometimes there's a story that looks interesting and you can't read it because it's beyond page 1. And if that newspaper is behind a paywall as well, you can't look at it online. But if your local library has paid for a subscription, you can go and have a look using this Press Reader app. You can read them online. I mean, you can go into your library and read the newspapers. Some people do that. But this means you can do it at home. You don't have to go to the library if you don't live near the library, or you can't get out, or whatever it might be. I mean, for me, I just want one story that's caught my eye from the headline. I did that the other day, and of course the headline was misleading and the story was very much less exciting than the headline had indicated, as is always the case. Clickbait isn't a new thing. It's just a new word. Headlines have always been there to try and pull us in. But anyway, it meant that I could check this story, so that was rather good. So I've got access to that as well, and all these magazines, and you've got foreign language ones as well. So like El Pay, the French, and you've got the New York Times. I mean, obviously it's not foreign language, but you know what I mean. You've got all sorts of different papers that you can read, and yeah, pretty amazing. Right, I'm finishing for today. I'm going to come out a little bit. Now, I feel that the chicks might look better if I use some white pen on the edges of them. I'm a bit worried that if I do that on the wings, I'll lose the definition of the wing, but I think if I did it on the edge of here, they would look much more realistic. I haven't done their eyes either. But at the moment I'm going to leave them. I haven't decided what I'm doing for my background, so that could impact. If I leave it white, then I can't make that white. They'll just sort of vanish. So I haven't quite decided completely yet. I'm not 100% finished with them, but I've got some basics down. We'll probably work on the crowns and the other sort of details before I let's put that there. before I decide on what to do about the rest. But there we are for today. Thank you for watching today. I hope that you do have a super day, and hopefully you'll come back for the second half. Even if you don't, if you could just click that like button, that would make a huge difference, and I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and happy colouring.